Hi, I'm Ashley Siegfried, and I play Laurie in Discoveryland's production of Oklahoma.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the national home of Rogers and Hammerstein's Oklahoma. We're going to start the show soon, but first, here's our Western musical review, and all of us came out singing the Discoveryland theme song. Discoveryland, we have it all. Boom, and then the show starts.
Discoveryland was first opened in 1976 by William Thomas Jeffers in Sand Springs, Oklahoma. This family-run business was well known for its nightly performance of the famous musical Oklahoma. Discoveryland averaged over 100,000 visitors each year during their summer performances. They had visitors from all 50 states and over 50 countries, and all 50 governors attended a performance in 1993 and was awarded numerous state and national awards.
I think the charm and the draw of it was that the average person would come out here because it was an outdoor theater and not your performing arts center going to a show. Native Americans were dancing every night. There was a barbecue, and the musical itself is a musical that anybody can enjoy.
We've come to Oklahoma production numerous times. We live just a short way. Our son worked out here as a wrangler when the Oklahoma production was going on.
Hey, I'd like to welcome all you folks to the national home of Rogers and Hammerstein's Oklahoma.
I grew up in Sand Springs, Oklahoma. We actually lived about 4.5 miles from Discoveryland. And then when I was in high school, I got the opportunity to go work at Discoveryland. My high school choir teacher was the music director out there. In 1994, he called me up and he said, look, we need an extra tenor for Discoveryland. Rehearsals start in a couple weeks. Are you interested? And I was like, oh my gosh, yes, that's been something I wanted to do forever.
Chicks and ducks and geese, Spanish go red when I take you out in the sun.
Discoveryland was absolutely a big draw for Oklahoma tourism.
The people that lived in the area, there was a huge sense of pride for Discoveryland because we knew that people were coming from outside of their area to experience it. So you could see, on any given night, busload after busload after busload of people coming in from, all over the country basically to little old Sand Springs, Oklahoma to see the production of Oklahoma at Discoveryland. And that was really cool.
The Jeffers could have sold Discoveryland several times. There were corporations that wanted to buy the place and make it into an amusement park and bigger things. And they thought the light of what they envisioned would be lost in a corporate kind of thing.
Simply drop by any Pizza Hut and ask for your 2-for-1 coupons and then come join us at Discoveryland.
They just were so much about WT's vision for Discoveryland that they kept it in the family.
So hey, we're delighted to have you folks here at Discoveryland. We'd like to invite you to come spend a remarkable evening under the stars here in our theater.
Discoveryland came to a sudden end in the summer of 2011. A few years later, in 2014, it was officially announced that it would be closed for good.
We didn't have the tourism. The charter bus tourism wasn't a big thing like it was in the 80s where, groups got on charter buses and went all over the United States. That wasn't as big of a deal, like it used to be. Branson got really, really big, and I think there was a lot to do in Branson, so it was harder to branch off into Oklahoma.
So it was in the news when it was closing, and I think everybody who worked here or was connected to this place was sad when it closed. I was obviously sad when it was closed. So
for 5 years, Discoveryland sat abandoned while nature started to take over. It became nothing more than a memory.
I mean, entertainment options have also changed throughout the years. Tulsa as a whole has changed. There used to be only a few entertainment options here in town. Discoveryland was one of them. Tulsa Ballet was one of them. Now we've got every casino in town bringing in big name stars. The Nutcracker is still an important part of Christmas tradition here in Tulsa, but there are many, many other options now, whereas back in the 80s and 90s, that wasn't the case. Same with Discoveryland.
Famous green country tourist attraction is once again up for sale.
There have been several attempts to revive the property, from turning it into an amusement park and then a gun range, but those ideas didn't pan out.
Just before all hope was lost, Jason and Kayla Shipman, two Sand Spring natives, purchased the property in 2019 in hopes of making the 525 acres their dream ranch.
Kayla and I both grew up in Sand Springs, so we're lifelong, Sand Springs folks. The Discoveryland property was not something we were interested in at first. When it came up for sale, we were looking at a neighboring property. We both enjoy outdoors, riding horses, hunting, fishing, wildlife conservation, habitat management. So we were looking for a large tract of land. The other property, the deal fell through on that. We saw that Discoveryland was, for sale, and honestly, the pictures that I saw made me not really all that interested in it. But we came and toured it. After a lot of discussion and thought, we decided that this large tract of land, this close to Tulsa and Sand Springs, if anything, was going to be a good financial investment.
The vision's pretty much on par with what I was seeing. I know when we first came and looked at the property with Jason's parents, I could tell they were a little hesitant. They just saw a lot of work. And while there has been a lot of work, it's finally starting to come together. Probably the major challenges we faced were just how run down everything was. There was a lot of trash, a lot of metal scrap everywhere. There was absolutely no infrastructure left. We had to pretty much start from scratch. We had to build a house and build fencing for all of the animals. Had to tear down the amphitheater and several of the other buildings down basically to the studs and rebuild them just because they were in such poor shape.
Once we got out here, we realized there was enough left of the existing structures, particularly the amphitheater and the pavilion, that we could, restore those.
We started wiring a couple of houses for Jason. Jason's a builder, and when he bought Discoveryland, and he said, hey, would you be interested in helping out with the project? And I was absolutely on board with that.
So this is the original ceiling, and we came through and repainted all of it, and repainted the catwalk and all the beams.
We decided that we needed to do something to kind of diversify, revenue streams, and obviously weddings are a consistent, frequent event. So we decided to, build this event center that we're in here today. But we really kind of envisioned this place as a multi-use ranch, right? I mean, we're not just doing weddings, we're not just doing parties and corporate events. We hope to do concerts and theater performances and all that stuff, but we also, it's a ranch. I mean, we've got livestock and horses and cattle, and my wife's a veterinarian, we've got 2 of every animal there is, but it's interesting to see, the areas not around the event center and amphitheater, how much they've been transformed as well.
Jason and Kayla are the most perfect people to take over Discoveryland Ranch and make it something unique. I think this is special. I think having weddings here and creating memories and new life is all in the same valve of what WT always envisioned with Discoveryland.
Super excited about what this place is going to be for Sand Springs and the Tulsa area, and the larger region at large. I mean, they'll have great events, they'll have weddings and things like that here, and band concerts. It'll be a big deal for our town, and I'm the kind of guy who really loves to see opportunity or possibilities in a place, and I was always so sad that this place was just dying, and that the Shipmans have brought it back to life and made that a possibility for our town and our region. Is very exciting for me. I think it's going to be terrific. It can't be anything but terrific.
The arts are just an important part of our culture. Every great city in the world has a thriving arts and cultural scene, and they go hand in hand. I think for Tulsa to continue to be on the map, it's important for it to have a strong arts community. There's room for a Discoveryland to possibly come back at some point. To have a live version of Oklahoma performed in its own state under the stars. I'd love to see that happen.
We really see the event venue as a canvas. We want people to come, paint it the way that they want to paint it. However they want to set it up, that's what we want.
I want them to feel comfortable, like this is a homey place for them. It's not, not intimidating or super fancy. It's just a place where they can come and relax and have fun.
Discoveryland Ranch. Exclusive events, priceless memories.